Pranams Gurudev. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sivananda Eminent Citizens Award function being hosted by Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust. A few words about this function. To be honest, this is not a function at all. This is a celebration of our life. Our idea of celebration is not reveling in trivialities. It is through responsible living that we celebrate our life. So, we celebrate our life by observing and practicing our culture. The integral feature of our practicing culture is to recognize the services of eminent men and women who have made life happier, who have made this world a better place to live through their significant contributions in their chosen fields. And the best way to recognize their services is to honor these luminaries in public. This is what Sivananda Eminent Citizen Awards function is all about. Come on, let us cheer the dignitaries who have arrived here. It has always been my privilege, pleasure and honor to anchor this classic. I would call this an annual classic, which is being conducted with a precision which is synonymous with the cycle of the seasons or the order in the cosmos. December 21st, it has to be Tivoli Gardens and it has to be Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust classic function. This trust, apart from hosting this annual function, has been spearheading many pleasant and useful activities silently, steadily and consistently, like a monthly journal, free music classes in Hyderabad and Vizag and many other places, music and dance festivals, documentation of historic sites, conducting international level symposia, publication of books and so on and so forth. It is my pleasure to invite the dignitaries. Before that, ladies and gentlemen, let me have the pleasure of mentioning the names of the dignitaries who have come here. Let us first welcome them with thundering applause. Dr. V. Shanta is here. We have Dr. V.R. Panchamukhi. Sit down. We have Professor Jayant Vishnu Narlika. And as chief guest, we have the Honorable Sri Justice Chalameswar. In one little sentence, we can conclude, ladies and gentlemen, that the best are here. The best available brains are here. And it is a pleasant sight to see many of the eminent citizens who were awarded in earlier functions being present here, like Professor Dikshitalu, who stands effortlessly tall, literally and figuratively. It's my privilege now to invite the dignitaries to the dais. The first will be a person who is a Padma Bhushan, who has always displayed a doctor's courage and compassion in treating a potentially terminal illness like cancer. The chairman and executive chairman of the iconic Cancer Institute in Adyar, Madras. A living legend. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Padma Bhushan Dr. V. Shanta to the dais. And may I request Srimati K. Rajeswari and Srimati Manju Prabhakar to escort this luminary to the dais. I'm not hearing you. You are getting better. I had the privilege of meeting Dr. V. Shanta along with K. Basavaraju and Murali Krishna in Chennai. Now, whatever she spoke in a casual conversation could be printed without editing. Such precision. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, let us greet this living legend. Thank you, ma'am. Very few people display very interesting and unique combinations. I have a gentleman who is a lover of World Cup football and Lalgudi Jayaraman combined. So whenever he watches World Cup football, he will mute the TV, watch TV, and put Lalgudi Jayaraman in stereo. And he would say, Bale, Sabash, we don't know whether it is for the Sangati or for the goal. And here we have a very interesting gentleman who was the president of Indian Econometric Society for 3 consecutive years and was also the chancellor of Sanskrit University, Rashtriya Sanskrit University, Tirupati. And it is some unique combination, ladies and gentlemen. I have immense pleasure in welcoming Dr. V.R. Panchamukhi to the dais. May I request Sri Apparao Garu, trustee of Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust, to kindly escort him. Welcome, sir. A beautiful blend of Dvaita Vedanta and economics. This gentleman has been responsible for revamping the statistical system in the country. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let us greet him loudly. We have seen Padma Bhushans. Many eminent men and women were honored with this unique title. But very few had received this at a very young age. We have amidst us a gentleman who was bestowed with the Padma Bhushan award when he was hardly 26. Can you believe this? So he went on to receive Padma Vibhushan also. One of the foremost exponents of the steady state theory in cosmology, this gentleman set up the award-winning Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Padma Vibhushan Professor Jayant Vishnu Narlikar to the dais. Sri A. Gopal Reddy, IPS, trustee of the Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust, is escorting him to the dais. The government of the state of Maharashtra gave him the state's highest civilian honor of Maharashtra Bhushan. Once more, we will greet him with respect and happiness. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a problem here. If you come here, if you are asked to come here and stand before the mic and speak a few words about a person who is sitting in the front, you will appreciate my problem. Because this gentleman has been defying all descriptions, unconsciously though, with a humble vehemence. This gentleman has been defying all descriptions, unconsciously though, with a humble vehemence. He is one among us, but certainly he is not like any of us. He is a spiritual colossus. At the same time, he is the simplest human being which you can come across. It's my pleasure in inviting all of you to join me with folded hands, with cheer, with happiness, with love, with gratitude. Let me welcome my master, my refuge, my beloved, Sadhguru Sivananda Murthy Garu. Call it coincidence or providence, We are immensely privileged to live at a time when he has chosen to come down on this earth. Sri Somaramaya and Dr. Raghavendran escorted him to the dais, which symbolizes their association, long-lasting association with the Pujya Guruji. Professor Mallikarjun would always love this remark. Our Guruji is a profile-less phenomenon. Yes? Profile-less phenomenon. If at all he has a profile, it is that of an Aryan. To be more precise, a patriarch. There is nothing which engages his mind and attention except the country, this great country and the greatest culture. This is why he has been living every moment of his existence or sojourn on earth in the liveliest manner possible. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasant duty, privilege and honor to greet him on his 85th birthday. Let him score a century in style, and let me celebrate that also. May we celebrate that also. And now, it is my honor to invite the chief guest of this function, a pleasant gentleman, a literature in the truest sense of the term, born in 1953 in Krishna district, graduated in science at Madras Loyola College, in law from Andhra University, Visakhapatnam. He was designated as senior counsel in the year 1995, appointed as additional advocate general in 1995. He was elevated as additional judge of High Court of Andhra Pradesh in 1997, and as judge in 1999. He was elevated as Chief Justice of Guwahati High Court in 2007. He was transferred to Kerala High Court, and where he assumed the charge as Chief Justice of Kerala in 2010. He was elevated as Judge Supreme Court of India. Yes, no marks for guessing who he is. Now, may we welcome Honorable Sri Justice Chalameswar to be the chief guest of this function, and may we request our own Justice Bhaskar Rao Garu to escort him to the dais, please.
गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सेदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओं। प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनाममित्रियवधूं सक्तुमिव ततुना पुनन्तो यत्र धीरा मनसा वाचमकृता अत्रा सखाय सख्यानि जानते भद्रेषां लक्ष्मीर्निहिताधिवाची। ॐ गौरीमिमाय सलिलानि तक्षत्येकपदी द्विपदी सा चतुष्पदी अष्टापदी नवपदी बभूषी सहस्राक्षरा परमे व्योमन्मुद्दीप्य स्वजातवेदो भग्नन्निरुतिं मम पशुगश्च मह्यमावह जीवनं च दिशो दिशा। ॐ भद्रं कन्येभिः शृणुयाम देवाः।
Respected Honorable Justice Sri J. Chalameswar Garu, Justice of Supreme Court of India, our chief guest for this evening, and our beloved Guruji, members of the press, electronic media, distinguished awardees, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust, I extend a very hearty welcome to all of you present here this evening. We express our strong gratitude to our Honorable Justice Sri J. Chalameswar Garu for being here in spite of his busy schedule, and who have consented to be our chief guest for this evening here today. And also Sri Pujya Guruji for being here with us amidst us. We also express our gratitude to all the eminent citizens who have consented to accept our awards and personally came all the way to receive them here. We also thank the press, the electronic media, and of course all the ladies and gentlemen present here. On behalf of Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust, I once again extend a hearty welcome to all of you present here on this special occasion of Sivananda Eminent Citizen Award 2013. Thank you.
That was Prince Charming for you. We were afraid whether he would turn up. No, he's a charismatic globetrotter. Even he doesn't know where he would be at what time. Thanks, Rajshekhar. And now it's my privilege to invite Sri K. Basavaraju, more dearly known to all of us as Bobby, Puja Guruji's eldest son. He is the managing trustee. He will present a brief report. He has inherited humor from his father and sharpness from his mother, and that's a beautiful combination, a beautiful blend. And in the world, in a society infested by Maikasuras, he is known for his brevity. You will see it shortly.
పూజ్య సద్గురు శ్రీ శివానందమూర్తి గారు, Honorable Sri Justice J. Chalameshwar garu, eminent citizens on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, I extend a hearty welcome to all of you once again to this 20th annual function of Sivananda Eminent Citizens Award. I am happy to take this opportunity to present a brief report on the aims and objectives of this trust. Though we have been functioning since 20 years, we have formed into a trust named by Guruji as Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust in the year 2000, with a few followers of Sadguru Sivananda Murthy Garu as trustees to work under his guidance and instructions for the cause of the culture of India. Our mentor and guide in our activities, Sadguru Sri Sivananda Murthy Garu, is a patriot who believes in the great Sanatana Dharma of India, the way of righteous living in an ultimate value system. It is his wish to inculcate a national spirit and love of nation in every Indian, which is why we strive to highlight the great men of this country who made it proud. It is one of our primary objectives to choose and salute such personalities before our audience so as to provide an opportunity to emulate their qualities. We have been honoring such great citizens with Sivananda Eminent Citizen Award since 20 years, and so far we have the privilege of honoring 113 eminent citizens with this award, including this year. While this award is bestowed on personalities from all over the country for their achievements in the national level, we have instituted another award called Sri Ramanavami Pratibha Puraskaram, for which great men are chosen from Andhra Pradesh. This award is given as part of our celebration on Sri Ramanavami Day. Those who served the country with their scholarly contribution to the spread of Indian culture are chosen for this Puraskaram. This Puraskaram carries a traditional felicitation with a citation and a token cash prize of 25,000. So far, 133 scholars have received this award. We will always be grateful to all those generous personalities for accepting our humble gesture. Janmashtami is another festival we observe and celebrate every year. Great souls leading the society with their teachings towards dharmic life are honored on this birthday of Lord Sri Krishna, whom we worship as Jagat Guru. This honor carries a purse of 1 lakh rupees as a token. We are working with the financial support in the form of donations from the members of the large family of Guruji's followers from all parts of the world. I am pleased to announce that we are now strengthened with an accumulated corpus fund of 1 crore of rupees to support us in our future activities. A considerable portion of our annual outlay of 20 lakhs is met out of the income from this corpus. Our sincere thanks to all those supporters who made it possible. Our trust enjoys an exemption under the Section 80G of Income Tax Act for the benefit of those generous donors. We started this trust with a number of activities like publication of our valuable literature, writings of Sadguru Sri Sivananda Murthy Garu, running of a bi-monthly magazine Supadha, conducting annual music and dance festivals to promote classical dance, music, and honor veteran artists on these occasions, and so on. With a view to improve and take these activities to a greater heights, we have formed separate organizations like Sivaganga Sangeeta Parishad, Andhra Music Academy, and Sivananda Subhada Foundation, all working under the divine guidance of our Master, Sri Sivananda Murthy Garu. Now, our ever-increasing activities are distributed between these organizations and are being organized with great dedication and devotion by our spirited young teams in all these organizations. We seek the divine blessings of our Master to give us the right spirit and strength to rise to his standards and expectations and dedicate our lives to this cause. Thanking everyone for this opportunity, I request Mr. Ramanan to take the event forward. Thank you.
That was Bobby for you. We have a very, very pleasant interlude or addition to this classic function. It is the release of a book called Structure of the Universe. For the benefit of those who may not know what it is about, anyway, you are going to buy it and read it. I'm only prompting you to do so. This book has been written by Puja Guruji. I don't think I have to add any more word to this. Years ago, when he was sitting on his couch in Bhimanipatnam, he was in meditation or trance or whatever you say. Then one of us pestered him when India was playing Pakistan. Pakistan was gaining an upper hand. We pestered him, the match is, we are going to lose the match. Then he opened his eyes, smiled and said, no, we are going to win. Then wickets started tumbling on the other side, we won. And when he came out, in my own impertinent way, I checked with him. Then what were you thinking? No, I was just trying to take a look at the structure of the universe, he said. And the next moment, without a gap, he was participating in our interest in an India-Pakistan match. It means he has no planes, or he exists simultaneously in all possible planes. Ladies and gentlemen, only such a soul can write about the structure of the universe. You call it the English version of Brahmanda Purana, you call it Guruji's vision of how it is. It is the wonderful story about which he was speaking about yesterday at Warangal. So that is the book. And may I request Professor V.V.S. Sharma to please come over to the mic, and he is going to present us a short review about this very interesting book. He was associated with Guruji in this work also.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. 4 or 5 days ago, when Guruji suggested that I speak on his book, Structure of the Universe, I was nervous. For the simple reason, the reason for his asking me is that I have seen the manuscript, original manuscript of this some 20 years ago. And at that time, my mind was vacant. I had no idea of astronomy, much less any idea of Vedic literature. So the book was really in Greek, whether we have borrowed astronomy from Greeks or not. I tried to read it, but didn't proceed much, but I put it on the machine and printed a copy of it and kept it with me. And actually my mind was like an empty space, and I can start with a small quotation, Kam Brahma, Kam Brahma. What is Brahma? And Brahma is Akasha. So in creation, the first one is said to be Akasha. So that is what my state was. 3 years ago, he called me and said, have you looked at that manuscript again? Sir, I shall look into it for a brief period and just print it out and give it to you, what he has written. I tried to put some chapter headings and divide it into a thesis-like structure, which I am accustomed to, and gave it to him. I didn't add a single sentence. My only attempt was to understand what he was saying. I didn't know what is solstice, equinox, or celestial sphere, or zodiac. Nothing was a problem. So I had to look into and find out everything about what it is. The most important problem why I felt so nervous is he referred to the book called Structure of the Universe by Professor Narlikar, and my trying to introduce a book on structure of the universe before him, I felt like more like a graduate student than a professor of engineering. The problem is complicated by the fact that I have my research supervisor here for my PhD degree, Professor B.L. Deekshitulu in electrical engineering, and V.L.S. Bhimasankaram, who is a well-known geophysicist. So one is Patala and one is Antariksha, and I am stuck between as an engineer dealing with artificial gadgets created with less maintainability, reliability, and so safety. I was curious about some of the titles of Professor Narlikar's books in Marathi. Nabat Hazare Tare, Antarala Tala Bhasmasura, Yakshanchi Denagi. Fantastic titles, I thought. The Gift of Yakshas, The Smiling Stars in the Sky from Nabha, and Antarala Tala Bhasmasura. It is not just Antarala, it is the plane, it is the realm of Antarala and Bhasmasura on it. Then I looked at Guruji's title. It is not just a structure of the universe. It is a structure of the universe qualified by two very heavy words, Vedic and Vishwarupa. I think that altered the picture totally differently. The center of gravity has shifted for the whole thing, and an astrophysicist's view of universe has just become the tip of the iceberg. The rest of it is the foundation structure of creation and the creator, which Guruji has brought it out in this. So I presume, because I don't read Marathi, that Dr. Narlikar's Bhasmasura and Yakshas are metaphorical. But here in this Antariksha, Yakshas have a place, Gandharvas have a place, Devas have a place, Pisachas have a place, human beings have a place, and this is what he is talking about, this complete universe. He not only talked about them, he talked about rishis, the work of rishis by which we have inherited Sanatana Dharma. In fact, I learnt about some rishis from his books only on history of Vedic rishis. So about few hundreds of rishis have contributed to this knowledge. Then, today, we think we are scientific, rational and advanced. What is it? We hear about some words. We see this year's Nobel Prize in Physics coming to a gentleman called Higgs. He finds a fundamental Higgs boson, which was nicknamed God particle, which is supposed to create matter in the universe. And also, we heard some time ago a book by Richard Dawkins, who says that universe is without design and God is a blind watchmaker without a workshop. And thirdly, we know, all of us know the books of Stephen Hawking. His recent book is The Grand Design, and he says, argues invoking God is not necessary to explain the origin of the universe. The Big Bang is a consequence of the laws of physics alone. One cannot prove that God does not exist, but science makes God unnecessary. Stephen Hawking may be a great professor, but he doesn't know anything about God. If he has, at least he might have heard of Bible, but you might not have heard of Vishnu Sahasranama. That means if you had known Vishwam Vishnu Vashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu, you would not have got the doubt. Vishwam and Vishnu are no different. If Vishwam exists, Vishnu exists. Again, this fact I learned from the commentary of Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram by Guruji himself. And, okay, so now let us come to the content of the book. The whole idea is, we had, our culture starts with rishis. Some time ago in Vedic age, we have got some rishis who are not evolved from monkeys, as Charles Darwin has said, but who have come down from Brahma as the creator, as Manasaputras, and they later became Prajapatis and came out with Veda. Tapas was their way of life, and they discovered the truth. So let us look at a Vedic verse, which again I get from this book. Nabhya asid nantariksham sirshodhyau padhyam bhumi disha srotrat tadha lokana kalpayat hiranyagarbha samavartagre tad srushta tadeva anupravisat. That means, what is the structure of the universe? Hiranyagarbha himself is the structure of the universe. Nabhi is antariksha, Sirsha, the head, is the light, Padas are Bhumi, Dishas are ears, and he conceived Lokas, Lokana Kalpayat, and Tadeva Anupravisat. He entered into there, he made Pravesha into it. That's what it is. Prajapati's form itself is the shape of Brahmanda. So, the problem with the modern man is the Vedic literature is ununderstandable if somebody tries self-reading. Veda talks in one language, Upanishads talk in another language. Like, for example, you take Taittiriya Upanishad or Anandavalli or Brahmanandavalli, it's called, people go to upper realms of world. So you have Ananda. Ananda is the goal of life. We have only what is called pleasure or happiness in this earth, which is but an occasional episode in the general drama of pain and sorrow. That's what Thomas Hardy has said in one of his novels. So you want to, is it your imagination to have worlds where happiness is there, or there is a measure of this? Brahmanandavalli says there is a Manushyananda, there is a Gandharvananda, there is a Devagandharvananda. The Ananda of Indra is much higher, and the Ananda of Prajapati is still higher, and the Avananda of Brahma is much higher, and people can go indeed to these lokas by their tapas as a result of a phala called Apurva. And again this fact I collected from his book.
After, and when he puts a word in writing, it assumes a stupefying finality. But we must all compliment Professor Sharma Garu for taking up the impossible task of speaking about it. Our warm round of applause to Sharma Garu. He taught as a professor at the highest level in Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and his subject was very interesting, artificial intelligence. Well, Sharma Garu's intelligence is not artificial but natural because it is original, because he grew up in the shadow of Guruji. And one word of consolation, which was what I could understand from what Sharma Garu spoke, is that we are not debatable improvement over apes, but descendants of Maharishis. That gives us a lot of consolation. Thank you, Sharma Garu, again. Now, may we request Pujya Guruji and the chief guest to release this brilliant book, Structure of the Universe. And may I request Kumari, Radha Kumari, who has been significantly instrumental in this work with Guruji, to assist them in the process. Professor Sudarshan Rao and I also will fondly recall our association with this work. May I request Sri K.V. Krishnamurti Garu of I Serve to please come onto the dais and receive a copy of this book from Pujya Guruji. Sri K.V. Krishnamurti Garu.
Most respected Justice Chalmeshwar Garu, the chief guest, most honored personalities who are being honored today in this occasion, ladies and gentlemen, what has just transpired, release of the book authored by me, is not exactly part of this function. This has been later added to this, taking advantage of the great gathering. Anyway, it is not a book of science, it's not a book of Purana alone. My idea was to say that Vedic literature has its own concept of a structure of the universe, and the presentation is not mathematical or astrophysical or anything to do with the space technologies that we have developed. It's just a name that has already been given, structure of the universe, by our most eminent scientist of our country, Dr. Narlikar. That is beside the point. We have been conducting these functions for quite some years. We have the satisfaction of introducing very eminent personalities of our country who made this country proud, who could hopefully inspire the youth and remain in making people devoted to the sciences of modern sciences. And we have to be ambitious to be recognized purely by merit and nothing else. That's a noble ambition. If merit is going to show us as tall to the society, it's worth being proud of. Indian mind is original, brilliant, wide-ranging, and I know, you know, this literature that we have from the Vedic times in India has proved for the Indian mind, sky is the limit. All material ambitions are small before an ambition to know the secrets of life, devote our lives to the good of the society, and recognize the greatness of our ancestors without being a blind believer in anything. Analytical sciences have reached great heights. Now we have to remind our youth are hitting their targets wonderfully. We have 1 million Indian youth working as engineers abroad, particularly in a country like America. American IT companies are totally dependent on them. But I only wish that this youth of India shall not forever remain dependent on the job potential of the Americans. We have to be independent of that. We have to prove that we can employ our youth in our own country usefully, purposefully, and with pride. The future is also a challenge in this. Eminence can be not 1 in 100, it can be 2 in 100, it can be 10 in 100 also. We have the required IQ potential of our country. So we have many aspects of life which can make the man useful to the society, inspiring to the society, and make the society proud. This is a kind of an ambition that we have. What little we have done is nothing much to talk about. It's a very humble effort that we are making. By God's grace, great men are condescending to come over here and take a small honor from our hands, and eminent great men are condescending to come over and preside over this function as chief guest. Just by God's grace, I believe, and our genuine efforts of the youth that are playing their role in these functions have become success so far, and I hope this practice, this kind of activity shall continue and continue to inspire the youth. And also the most important thing is many educated citizens may not have known these personalities with their achievements. To acquaint the citizen about the greatness of a few men is also the responsibility of a responsible group of citizens. I feel that this honoring our own eminence is a national pride, and it's a great yajnam. I think it is the duty of everyone to recognize the great men of our country and talk to their children and youth about them, try to inspire them. This is a simple ambition that we have, and thanks to the Almighty's grace, we are able to do something in Him. And I express my genuine gratitude to all the great men that are on the dais today for their kind presence. I have nothing more to say. Thank you very much.
Yeah, let us honor her. Let us welcome her to this ceremonial chair. I request Dr. G. Prabhakar to please come and read the citation for our benefit. Prabhakar has many faces. One is he is the resident medical officer of Geetham Institute of Medical Sciences and Research. He is the medical director of Green Vision. He is a renowned consultant in the field of HIV and AIDS. I think he has served, if the count is not wrong, a minimum of 100,000 patients he has served in this field. He is also the medical officer for the Hindu newspaper in Visakhapatnam. Above all, he is a student of Dr. V. Shanta. He did his house surgeonship under her in the Cancer Institute. And more than that, he is one of the sweetest brothers whom anyone would like to adopt. Welcome, Dr. G. Prabhakar.
Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust, Anandavanam, Bhimanipatnam, Visakhapatnam District. Sivananda Eminent Citizen Award 2013 conferred on Padma Bhushan Dr. V. Shanta. The ultimate goal of medical science is to transform lesser mortals into blissful immortals through excellent health. Commendable indeed is the progress that we witness in the field of medicine and medical care. However, at every milestone of such achievements, the mettle of medical science is tested as new diseases crop up and a few old diseases continue to remain unconquerable. Cancer continues to be a challenge to doctors, demanding courage and compassion in equal measure on their part. The only victory against malignancy is in retaining one's empathy and continuing to provide increasingly better treatment. As the backbone of the iconic Cancer Institute in Adayar, Chennai, Dr. V. Shanta has been fighting the disease on our behalf
for nearly 6 decades. She is more than victorious, and she is a living legend. Born into a distinguished scientific family, Dr. Shanta's grand uncle was Sir C.V. Raman, who won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1930, and her uncle was Dr. S. Chandrasekhar, who won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1983. Thus, there was no dearth of inspiration for her to take up the undaunting and often thankless task of treating the terminally ill. She completed her MBBS in 1949, DGO in 1952, and MD in Obstetrics and Gynecology in 1955. The same year, she joined the Fledgling Cancer Institute, established in 1954 by the Women's Indian Association Cancer Relief Fund as its resident medical officer. That she chose this over an assistant surgeon's post in the Women and Children Hospital Madras was the first unraveling of her larger mission in the medical profession. Dr. V. Shanta is at present Chairman and Executive Chairman of the Cancer Institute, WIA Chennai. Under her care and inspiration, it has grown from a small establishment with 12 beds in 1955 to the vast Banyan-like institution it is today, with several firsts to its name, including departments for nuclear medical oncology in 1956, pediatric oncology in 1960, installing a linear accelerator in 1976, introducing blood component therapy in 1978, hyperthermia treatment in 1984, endoscopic laser surgery in 1985, and intraoperative electron therapy in 1992. The Cancer Institute is the first in the country to introduce rapid arc treatment in 2009 and to start MPhil course in psycho-oncology in 2011. Her arc of cancer treatment is wide. It includes awareness, prevention, counseling, treatment, palliative care, and so much more. Not only did Dr. Shanta equip her own institution with the tools to provide this spectrum of care, she invested her time, energy, and deep knowledge under various capacities. For instance, she was on WHO Advisory Committee on Cancer till March 2005 and convener of the State Advisory Board on Cancer. She has been the chairman of the Indo-US Collaborative Group on Lymphoid Neoplasias, Indian chapter, member of many ICMR committees, member of the ICMR Task Force on Registries, and member of the Syndicate of the Anna University. She was president of the Indian Society of Oncology, 1988-90, president of the Asian and Pacific Federation of Organizations for Cancer Control, 97-99, and president of the 15th Asian and Pacific Cancer Conference, 1999. She is a member of the State Planning Commission for Health and member of the expert group to dispel apprehensions on the Kudankulam nuclear power project. She was awarded DSc by Sri Venkateswara University in 1998, Dr. MGR Medical University in 2002, Dr. NTR University of Health Sciences and Satyabhama University in 2013. She has published over 95 papers in national and international journals, contributed chapters in oncology books, delivered many prestigious lectures, and participated in many international and national conferences. She was awarded the Padma Shri in 1986, the Raman Magsaysay Award for Public Service in 2005, the Padma Bhushan in 2006, the Tamil Nadu government's Avayar Award in 2013, and over 12 Lifetime Achievement Awards. However, Dr. Shanta's work is ongoing
a force of good. In grateful recognition of Dr. Shanta's noble quest, we are pleased to present her the Sivananda Eminent Citizen Award 2013. We wish her good health and a long life. We are sure she would continue to remain a beacon of hope. K. Basavaraju, Managing Trustee, Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust, Hyderabad, December 21st, 2013. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, on your behalf, may I now request Pujya Guruji and the chief guest to do the honors to Dr. V. Shanta. First, Pujya Guruji will present the shawl. I request the chief guest to present the citation and memento to Dr. V. Shanta. Sivananda Eminent Citizen Award 2013 is being presented to Dr. Shanta by Honorable Justice, and the memento. I request Sri K. Basavaraju, Managing Trustee, to present the purse and the bouquet to Dr. V. Shanta Garu. And may I request our L.V. Subramaniam to present the LSRK Award to Dr. V. Shanta. I am very happy to announce that Lieutenant General S.K. Sinha has arrived. So he will also be honored very shortly after he settles down. In the meantime, it is my privilege to invite Dr. V.R. Panchamukhi to the special chair. Happy blend of econometry and Sanskrit. And I request Professor Raghavendran to present the citation, to read the citation. Professor Raghavendran is more dearly known to all of us as Ragi Anna, because he is, to most of us, elder brother in every sense of the term. He is a scientist in his own right. Even now he is the consultant in Kaveri and Vaigai water tribunals. And you might have heard about the condensed editions of Reader's Digest, Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, such a voluminous book. And Reader's Digest will present it in 3 small installments. And you will not miss the original. Professor Raghavendran, or Ragi Anna, in my opinion, is the only person who can convey the essence of Guruji without quoting him. Welcome, Professor Raghavendran.
Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust, Anandavanam, Bhimanipatnam. Sivananda Eminent Citizen Award 2013, conferred on Dr. V.R. Panchamukhi. There is more than one side or facet to each of us. Some facets are visible and inspiring, while others are cloaked in darkness. When all the facets of an individual are lit up by purpose and made to face the light of knowledge, he lights up the world and wins the gratitude of the people. Every facet of Dr. V.R. Panchamukhi, teacher, scholar, economist, Indologist, is a beacon to those respective fields. He is unique as he realized the link between our culture, our economy, and our future. Born in 1936 to the illustrious archaeologist and Indologist Vidyaratna Sri R.S. Panchamukhi, V.R. Panchamukhi proved to be a chip of the old block. His intellect shone through in a brilliant academic career ranking first in his BA in Mathematics and Statistics from the Karnataka University and picking up the Chancellor's Gold Medal of Bombay University for another first rank in his MA in Statistics. He topped off this pursuit with a PhD in Economics from the Delhi School of Economics. Innovation and vision marked the career of Dr. Panchamukhi. He pushed for the liberalization of trade policy in India as member secretary of the P.C. Alexander Committee on Import-Export Policies and Procedures. He was chairman, Indian Council of Social Science and Research from 2002 to 2005, founder Director General of the Research and Information System for the non-aligned and other developing countries from 1984 to 2002, Chief of Research Division and Executive Director of Trade Development Authority from 1975 to 79, and Economic Advisor in the Ministry of Finance 1979. He was the President of the Indian Econometric Society for 3 consecutive years from 1998 to 2000 and member of the National Statistical Commission responsible for revamping the statistical system in the country. Currently, he is the Chairman of the Indian Econometric Society's Trust. He is the Vice Chairman of the Indian Economic Association Trust for Research and Development. In his efforts to strengthen the economy to uplift the lower strata of society, Dr. Panchamukhi reached the higher echelons of economics. He was part of several UN bodies, including UNESCAP, Bangkok, 1968 to 1971, and UNIDO, Vienna, 1981. He has been a consultant to several UN bodies, including UNCTAD, ESCAP, UNDP, and ILO. His expertise was also sought by the World Bank, IMF, and intergovernment bodies like G77, New York, South Center, Geneva, and NAM. He has led Indian delegations to SAARC countries for discussions on cooperation in the region. Another brilliant facet of his is Sanskrit. He took his first steps in Sanskrit and Indology at his illustrious father's feet. He has served as Chancellor, Rashtriya Sanskrit University, Tirupati, for 2 terms from 1998 to 2008. In this capacity, he has brought about several innovative initiatives, including Sanskrit science exhibitions, digitization of Sanskrit manuscripts, and the launching of a new department of Dvaita Vedanta. He was honored with the post of President, Akhila Bharat Madhva Sammelana at Udupi. He is currently Chancellor, Guru Sarvabhauma Sanskrit Vidyapita, Mantralayam. He has won the President's Certificate of Honor in Sanskrit for his contributions to the field of Sanskrit and Indology. Titles such as Vidvad Ratnam, Vishwavidya Kulapati, Madhva Shiromani, and Shastra Kovida. He was bestowed the honorary doctorate by Sri Lal Bahadur Sanskrit University. He was given the Karnataka Rajyotsava Award in 2002 in recognition of his significant contributions in the field of economics, Sanskrit, and institution building. His efforts towards the preservation of manuscripts as expert member on the Empowered Committee of National Manuscripts Mission are notable. He was chairman of the high-powered committee set up by TTD and the Andhra Pradesh government for establishing the Venkateshwara Vedic University at Tirupati. He chaired a committee to draft the constitution of the Karnataka Sanskrit University. He has visited over 25 countries, speaking on economics, sustainable development, planning, and other global issues. It is our honor to present Dr. Panchamukhi the Sivananda Eminent Citizen Award 2013 for his significant contributions in the fields of economics, Sanskrit, and Indology. May his services to the country continue for long. K. Basavaraju, Managing Trustee, Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust, Hyderabad, December 21st, 2013. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Ragi Anna. May I request the chief guest and Pujya Guruji to do the honors again. Guruji will present the shawl to Dr. V.R. Panchamukhi. Our chief guest will present the Sivananda Eminent Citizen Award 2013 to Dr. V.R. Panchamukhi. May I request the chief guest to present the memento also to him. Sri K. Basavaraju, Managing Trustee, will present the purse and honor him with a bouquet. And our dear L.V. Subramaniam will present the LSRK Award 2013 to Dr. V.R. Panchamukhi. '26 to receive the Padma Bhushan. May I request Professor Jayant Vishnu Narlikar to please come to the ceremonial chair to receive this prestigious award. Dr. Prabhakar is conducting him. Pujya Guruji mentioned that 20 years ago he was inspired by the title of one of his books, The Structure of the Universe. A special round of applause for that, please. And I request Sri H. Krishnamurthy to read the citation. HK, as he is fondly called, is the chief research scientist in Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. Some people are noisy. Some people are just pleasant, but they are not audible. HK is very audible and very pleasant. You will shortly know that I am absolutely true.
Pranams to Guruji. Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust, Anandavanam, Bhimnipatnam, Vishakhapatnam District. Sivananda Eminent Citizen Award 2013. Citation presented to Professor Jayant Vishnu Narlikar. We often use an inspirational saying, "Sky is the limit." It may be so for anything or anyone, but not for an astronomer. An outstanding astronomer scales greater heights at a rate that can only be described as meteoric. How else can we describe Dr. Jayant Vishnu Narlikar, a budding young scientist at the age of 26, conferred the Padma Bhushan by the Government of India? Born in 1938 to academician parents in Kolhapur, Maharashtra, Professor Narlikar had a brilliant academic career, which included BA in 1960, PhD in 1963, MA in 1964, and doctorate in science in 1976, all in mathematics from the University of Cambridge. He emerged a Wrangler and Tyson medalist in mathematical tripos, but specialized in astronomy and astrophysics. He distinguished himself at Cambridge with the Smith's Prize in 1962 and Adams Prize in 1967. He was a fellow of the King's College and founder staff member of the Institute of Theoretical Astronomy during the period 1963 to 72. Meanwhile, he laid the foundation of his research work in cosmology and astrophysics in collaboration with his mentor, Fred Hoyle, who was the foremost exponent of stellar nucleosynthesis. The Big Bang theory is a popular hypothesis for the origin of the universe. Professor Narlikar made a mark in cosmology thanks to his support of the alternative steady-state theory. As a scientist from India, it takes a great deal of courage, caliber, commitment to make a mark abroad. However, when the Indian scientist is concerned, it takes even more courage to come back home and implement the rich fund of knowledge in the Indian context. Professor Narlikar displayed admirable citizenship when he returned to India to join the Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, TIFR, where from 1972 to 1989, he elevated the theoretical astrophysics group to international standing. In 1988, on the invitation of the University Grants Commission, he set up the award-winning Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics, popularly known as IUCA, which he helmed as the founder director. He retired from this position in 2003 and is now an emeritus professor. Professor Narlikar's work has been on the frontiers of gravity and Mach's principle, quantum cosmology, and action at a distance physics. Since 1999, he has been heading pioneering experiments designed to sample air for microorganisms in the atmosphere at heights of up to 41 kilometers. His findings open new possibilities into the origin of life on Earth. Besides being a relentless scientist investigator, Professor Narlikar has a passion for science communication. Professor Narlikar was president of the Cosmology Commission of the International Astronomical Union from 1994 to 97. He received several international and national awards and several honorary doctorates. He is a proud recipient of the prestigious Shanti Sarup Bhatnagar Award as well as the MP Birla Award. Professor Jayant Vishnu Narlikar also received the Prix Janssen of the French Astronomical Society and the Associate of the Royal Astronomical Society of London. He is a fellow of all three national science academies and also the fellow of the Third World Academy of Sciences. He has published several books and articles and presented programs on radio and television. For these efforts, Professor Narlikar was honored by the UNESCO in 1996 with the Kalinga Award. The professor has been generous in sharing his expertise and skill with several national and international bodies in various capacities such as Fellow of the Royal Astronomical Society, London, Cambridge Philosophical Society, Cambridge, Fellow of the Indian Physics Association, Founder Member and later President of the Astronomical Society of India, Fellow of the Indian Academy of Sciences, Fellow of the Indian National Science Academy, and Fellow of the Third World Academy of Sciences. Today, Professor Narlikar is an institution by himself and is a part of various committees accepting visiting professorships to colleges and universities around the world. In 2004, in recognition of the pioneering and sustained contribution that Professor Narlikar has done, he was conferred the Padma Vibhushan by the Government of India. Professor Narlikar also received the highest civilian honor from the state of Maharashtra, which is the Maharashtra Bhushan. His is a scientist family. His wife, Srimati Mangala Narlikar, is a PhD in mathematics and continues to do research and teaching even today. His daughters Geeta, Girija, and Leelavati have all adopted careers in science. It is our privilege to present Professor Jayant Vishnu Narlikar the Sivananda Eminent Citizen Award 2013 for standing as an example to scientists and a source of inspiration to Indians. We wish him and the members of his family many more active, productive and successful years of research work in their respective chosen field. K. Basavaraju, Managing Trustee, Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust, Hyderabad, December 21st, 2013. Thank you.
That was HK for you. I'm sure at the last, even in the last row, the last syllable would have been audible. Thank you, HK. One important point, ladies and gentlemen, which I don't want any of you to miss. When we are struggling to travel 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers in a city, this eminent professor was testing samples at an altitude of 41 kilometers for microorganisms. Give him a big hand. Now may I request Pujya Guruji and the chief guest to take their ceremonial walk once again to the ceremonial chair to do the honors. Guruji will first present the shawl. Honorable Chief Guest will present the Sivananda Eminent Citizen Award 2013 to Professor Jayant Vishnu Narlikar. He is also presenting a memento on behalf of the Trust. And may I request Sri K. Basavaraju, Managing Trustee, to present the purse and a bouquet to the professor. And may I invite Sri L.V. Subramaniam, to present the LSRK Award to Padma Vibhushan Professor Jayant Vishnu Narlikar. Thank you, gentlemen. So here is an example from 1947, in the days of the Kashmir conflict. He has been rendering yeoman service as a soldier in front. So his citation will be read by Sri S. Ramakrishna, Chief Operation Officer, Tata Teleservices, Andhra Pradesh. Over to Sri S. Ramakrishna.
Sanatana Dharma Charitable Trust, Anandavanam, Bhimunipatnam, Visakhapatnam District. Sivananda Eminent Citizen Award 2013 conferred on Lieutenant General S.K. Sinha, PVSM. From the gasp for the first breath of air outside the mother's womb, life is an unending series of battles. Many succumb to the currents of vice, corruption, and self-centeredness. Some hold on to a few values imbibed during their upbringing and live on without exception. It is only a few men of grit and determination who soldier on towards the far shores of justice, equality, and active citizenship. One such soldier is Lieutenant General S.K. Sinha. Born in 1926, Shri Sinha showed academic excellence, graduating with honors from Patna University in 1943 at the tender age of 17 before donning army gear. He passed out as the best cadet and was awarded the Commandant's Baton, the wartime equivalent of the Sword of Honor. He has a rich experience in battlefields, having served in Burma and Indonesia, and after independence in Kashmir, Nagaland, and Manipur. Medals shine brightest to the